Hey everybody, Dr. Phil here. So this is going to be a video on marketing in today's business milieu, basically business world. All right, so let's start by talking about marketing management and a little bit more about just like marketing in general. So marketing is relevant to everyone across all business functions. Marketing can enhance your personal effectiveness as a leader. So don't just think about marketing products, but think about you and think about how you would go about marketing yourself. So let's talk a little bit about marketing misconceptions. So what do we know that marketing is definitely not? So marketing is all about advertising and selling. That's not true. Marketing is all fluff and no substance. Certainly not true. Marketing is inherently unethical and harmful to society. Unlikely. Only marketers market. Certainly that's not true. We all market to some extent. And marketing is just another cost center in a firm. Now, the reality is marketing is a central function and set of processes essential to any enterprise. Any enterprise has to market, right? So what we're basically saying is marketing management is a core business activity, and it's the reason why companies spend so much money on these things. Now, if we were to define marketing, a couple of the sort of the guru, Peter Drucker, around 1954, was quoted as saying, "There's only one valid definition of business purpose: to create a customer. The business enterprise has two and only two business functions: marketing and innovation." And then about 1973, Drucker also was quoted as saying, "Marketing is so basic that it cannot be considered a separate function, that is, a separate skill or work within the business. It is the whole business seen from the customer's point of view." The AMA, as we define it, American Marketing Association, defines marketing as the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and of course, society at large. So, who are marketing stakeholders? Well, they're sort of internal and external, so inside the firm and outside the firm. Societal marketing views members of society at large as stakeholders. Um, Also, a concept we call green marketing, which is a little more environmentally friendly, a little more eco conscious, um, and thinking about sustainability, i.e., meeting needs without harming future generations. So maybe the central tenet, the core of sustainability is just simply how do we meet our own needs, but sort of not rob from our, children and grandchildren, so to speak. Societal marketing is also referred to as purpose-driven or pro-social marketing. This type of marketing will engage customers in a meaningful and long-lasting way, trying to build those long-lasting types of relationships. They try to align with the customer's value, for example, Bombas, just simply because, the more you align with a certain brand, obviously, the more likely you are to purchase from them and repeat purchase. So how do we define value and exchange as sort of core marketing concepts? Well, we define value as the ratio of the bundle of benefits a customer receives from an offering compared to the costs incurred by the customer in acquiring that bundle of benefits. So almost like a, cost benefit type analysis. An exchange occurs when people give up something of value to them for something else they desire to have. An exchange usually is facilitated by money, but could also involve trade or barter of time, skill, expertise, intellectual capital, or other things of value. So, what are the conditions that are needed for an exchange? Well, obviously, there must be two parties, a minimum of two parties. Each party has something that might be of value to the other. Each party is capable of communication and delivery. Each party is free to accept or reject the exchange offer. And finally, each party believes it's appropriate or desirable to deal with the other party. Now, pre-industrial revolution, products were customized, and of course, there wasn't the sort of technology and communications networks and infrastructure that we now have. So the marketing was mainly one to one. If you focus on production and cost as we sort of move forwards or closer to the present day, this is where we started moving into like the assembly line type production. This is where we assumed that sort of this is what they call the push concept. Sort of, just build it and they will come, right? as they always say. Firms with this mindset will have difficulty competing successfully for customers because it's almost like we'll make it and then we just sort of assuming that somebody will buy it. As Henry Ford said, people can have the Model T in, yeah, in any color so long as it's black. Now, the reasons why production capacity utilization began to decline after World War One, obviously production capacity had been increased for the war effort. There were a lot of new companies, new competitors that flooded the market, and more sophisticated financial markets pressured firms to increase sales volume and profitability. This resulted in the rise of sales organizations. Salespeople needed to push products into the hands of consumers. So that's where marketing started to become more important because we're making all these things and we need people to buy them. So we sort of almost need to convince people that they need these things. Now, after World War II, there was a pent-up demand for consumer goods and services. Um, and this sort of euphoric focus on family and getting back to normal, after the war. So late 40s, early 50s, increased production for consumer goods, because now all the extra production wasn't needing to go to military. It could go to civilian and consumer goods. And sophisticated marketing research enabled by sort of the advent and eventual proliferation of mainframe computers. The marketing concept spread in the 60s and 70s led to allowing the market to decide what products it wanted, which gave rise to, of course, marketing planning. So then we talk about the marketing mix. Now we're moving into the 60s, the 4Ps, right? I'm sure you've all heard of product, price, place, and promotion. Now today, there's a little more sophisticated view of the 4Ps. So the products are offerings, and the focus is on solutions. Price is viewed in relationship to value. Place is a sophisticated, integrated supply chain approach. And promotion uses, of course, high-tech media, things like social media, for example. Now the post-marketing concept approaches, there's really four. There's a differentiation orientation, think about being different. There's a market orientation, a relationship orientation, and of course, one-to-one marketing that's still around after all these, all this time. So differentiation orientation. So this attempts to clearly communicate how the firm's products differ from competitors in the minds of customers. Multiple media channels enable the marketer to target very specific customer groups. So, for example, Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign used personalized bottles with popular names in an attempt to target millennials. And then we have the market orientation. So this is the implementation of the marketing concept. This includes customer-centric orientation, i.e. the customer is at the core of all aspects of the enterprise. And then investment in customers is long-term, organization-wide. And then we have the relationship and one-to-one marketing. So the relationship orientation focuses typically on customer retention, keeping the customers you already have. CRM, customer relationship management, deals with customer satisfaction and loyalty. One-to-one marketing advocates a learning relationship so that the firm can offer customized products and services. And of course, we have mass customization, which may sound like a bit of a oxymoron, but it combines flexible manufacturing with flexible marketing to enhance customer choices. And of course, the beauty industry trend, which is offer products based on customers' specific wants and needs. So, for example, pros, custom hair care. Now, today's customers have nearly limitless access to information. Obviously, we're living in the information age, right? So they have limitless access to information about companies, products, competitors, other customers, and even detailed elements of marketing plans and strategies. Now, this forces firms to be more open with customers about businesses and products because they can quickly find out that you're not telling them the truth. The trend toward more information in the hands of the customer is not going to diminish. Quite the opposite, it's probably going to keep increasing. Thus, marketing approaches must be created and executed to maximize the opportunities based on ubiquitous information in the customer's hands. So, we're moving into this era where it's very easy for people to get information. So, if a company is saying things about products that aren't true to try to sell them, it's very quickly going to come to light. Right. Thanks for watching this quick video, and I will see you all in a future video.